Have you ever found yourself in a heated argument only to realize it led nowhere? Or wished you could persuade others without resorting to confrontation? If so, you're in for a treat. In this captivating journey, we'll delve into Dale Carnegie's timeless principles, unlocking the secrets to effective communication and persuasion. Get ready to discover strategies that will transform your interactions, build positive relationships, and leave a lasting impact. Let's dive in. The first principle is the only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. Arguments seldom lead to anything positive. They tend to entrench each party further in their own beliefs without fostering understanding or resolution. Winning an argument is impossible. Even if you win an argument, you may actually lose by damaging the relationship. For example, you will have made the other person feel inferior, hurt their ego, and they will resent your triumph. Refraining from verbal fights is also wise. Stay calm and avoid engaging in heated debates. This helps create a harmonious environment. Arguing and contradicting may win an argument at times and give a temporary sense of victory, but often at the cost of the other person's goodwill. Even if you're right, it's unlikely that you'll change someone else's perspective, especially through arguing. Arguments are mostly futile. Acknowledging the other person's importance is important. Most people assert their authority in arguments to feed their crave of importance. When you admit their importance, for example, by not arguing with them, you tend to get a sympathetic and kind response from them. Thus, a good interaction. Misunderstandings are better resolved through diplomacy, empathy, and genuine desire to understand the other person's perspective. Handling disagreements constructively, for example, by listening, seeking areas of agreement, admitting errors, and postponing actions to allow for reflection leads to better interactions. The second principle highlights the importance of showing respect for others' opinion and avoiding direct confrontation when someone is wrong. Directly telling someone they are wrong can hurt their intelligence, judgment, pride, and self-respect. It's unlikely to change their mind and it may lead to defensiveness. Avoid proving others wrong. Rather than openly trying to tell someone they are wrong, it's more effective to subtly present facts or opinions. This may lead them to reconsider their position. Galileo said, "You cannot teach a man anything, you can only help him to find it within himself." This quote underscores the idea that true learning comes from within. People must discover certain things for themselves. Lord Chesterfield goes ahead and says that be wiser than other people if you can, but do not tell them so. In this, he suggests that it's more effective to be wiser without saying it. It's not necessary. Dale Carnegie, in this book, suggests that a diplomatic approach to correcting people's mistake is better by admitting the possibility of being wrong yourself and inviting discussion based on facts. For example, you can say, "Well, now look, I thought otherwise, but I may be wrong. I frequently am. And if I am wrong, I want to be put right. Let's examine the facts." That's a simple trick to just make things easier and to help everyone calm down and be open to discussion. It's important to acknowledge the possibility of an error made. Most people will not object to this since it is disarming and respectful, leading to a more reasonable approach to discussions. Most people are biased and prejudiced, thus they are not entirely logical and are resistant to changing their opinions when confronted with being wrong. James Harvey Robinson, in his book The Mind in the Making, says that human beings like to believe what they have been accustomed to believe is true. Thus, resentment is aroused when doubt is cast upon any of their assumptions, and it leads them to seek every manner of excuse to clinging to it. So handle people's mistakes gently, since they are more likely to admit to them when handled gently and tactfully, rather than being confronted aggressively. Recognize that people have different perspectives. Others' opinions may be right in different circumstances, and if they seem difficult in the present case, it is for a reason. Direct confrontations are damaging. Directly telling someone they are wrong and calling them out may damage their self dignity and hinder productive discussion. All this is ancient wisdom. These principles are reinforced by age old advice. For example, Jesus said, agree with your adversary quickly. So it has to mean something. Agree quickly, don't argue, don't call people out. Just be open to discussion, come with the facts, and be calm when doing it. Overall, this principle advocates for diplomacy, humility, respect in handling disagreements, and correcting others' mistakes. The next principle emphasizes the importance of promptly and sincerely admitting one's mistakes. Dale Carnegie highlights the satisfaction and courage in admitting mistakes. Doing so clears the air of guilt and defensiveness and often helps in solving the problem caused by the error. While it's common for people to defend their mistakes, admitting them raises one above the herd and gives a sense of nobility and exaltation. Admitting mistakes gently yields astonishing results and is far more effective than trying to defend yourself. Principle 4 emphasizes the importance of beginning interactions in a friendly and gentle manner. People are generally resistant to changing their minds and perspectives, especially when confronted with hostility and aggression. Attempting to force agreement is futile, but gentle and friendly persuasion can lead to agreement. Abraham Lincoln recognized the power of friendship in persuasion. He advised that to win someone over to your cause, you must first establish a sincere friend. Principle 5 focuses on the strategy of getting the other person to say yes immediately, which facilitates a positive and agreeable atmosphere for further discussion. Dale Carnegie advises against starting discussions with topics where there are differences. Instead, emphasize and continually emphasize points of agreement to prevent the other person from saying no or disagreeing. Professor Overstreet goes ahead and says that a no response is challenging to overcome because it triggers a need for consistency and pride in oneself. Even if the person's no may later be considered unnecessary, pride becomes a factor and the person feels the need to stick to their guns. Getting someone to say yes psychologically primes them to move in an affirmative direction. When someone says no, the entire neuromuscular system prepares for rejection, whereas a yes response is more forward-looking and generally accepting. Yes responses lead to a more open and accepting attitude without the defensive withdrawal symptoms associated with saying no. Therefore, the more yes responses attained at the beginning of a conversation, the greater the likelihood of success on proposing ideas. By asking questions that elicit a yes response, one subtly guides the other person towards embracing a conclusion they may have initially declined. This approach facilitates agreement and cooperation in the conversation. Principle 6 underscores the importance of allowing the other person to speak freely and encouraging them to express themselves. Dale Carnegie emphasizes the value of listening patiently and with an open mind when engaging with others. Encouraging people to express themselves fully fosters sincerity in communication. Allowing the other person to do most of the talking is a strategy that pays dividends, whether it's in professional or personal settings. By doing so, you create an environment where the other person feels heard and valued. Demonstrating genuine interest in the other person's experiences and challenges is just as important as being an attentive listener. But by allowing the other person to talk, you can build rapport and deepen your connection with them. Principle 7 focuses on allowing the other person to feel ownership over an idea. Dale Carnegie observed that people generally have more faith in ideas they have discovered themselves rather than those presented to them by others. When individuals feel that an idea is their own, they are more likely to believe in its validity and value. Involving the other person in the decision-making process by asking for their input and their contributions not only makes them feel important, but also gives them a sense of ownership over the decision. This enhances their commitment to the chosen course of action. Rather than forcefully imposing your ideas on others, a more effective approach is to casually plant the idea in their mind. By presenting the idea in a way that interests them and allowing them to consider it in their own terms, you increase the likelihood of them embracing it as their own. Principle 8 underscores the importance of empathizing with others and understanding their perspective. Dale Carnegie reminds us that while people may be wrong in your eyes, they do not perceive themselves as so. Condemnation is easy, but striving to understand others can work wonders. Only wise, tolerant, and exceptional individuals make this effort, and thus, when you use it, it works to your advantage. People also have reasons for their beliefs and actions. By seeking to understand these reasons, we gain insight into their behavior and possibly their overall personality. Honest efforts to put ourselves in their shoes can lead to greater empathy and understanding. Success in interpersonal interaction hinges on our ability to sympathetically grasp the viewpoints of others. This involves acknowledging the importance of their feelings and ideas alongside our own. Asking ourselves how we will feel or react if we were in the other person's shoes helps cultivate empathy and understanding. This perspective taking exercise encourages a more compassionate approach to communication and interaction. Dr. Gerald S. Nirenberg highlights that cooperation in conversation is achieved when we demonstrate that we value the other person's feelings and ideas as much as our own. This fosters mutual respect and open dialogue. Developing an increased tendency to consider the other person's point of view and see things from their perspective, in addition to our own, enhances our ability to connect with them and relate to their ideas. Principle 9 emphasizes the importance of being sympathetic to the ideas and the desires of others. Dale Carnegie advises it's essential to acknowledge the other person's perspective and express understanding because this validates their feelings and fosters empathy. Many people yearn for sympathy, and offering it can cultivate love and appreciation. Sympathy has a transformative effect, neutralizing negative emotions and fostering connection. Dr. Arthur I. Gates highlights the universal craving for sympathy across the human species. People eagerly seek sympathy for their injuries, illnesses, and misfortunes, whether real or imagined. This craving for sympathy or self-pity is widespread and deeply ingrained in human nature. By acknowledging and sympathizing with these ideas and the desires of others, we can cultivate positive relationships and promote mutual understanding and support. Principle 10 emphasizes the importance of appealing to the nobler motives of others. Recognizing that all individuals hold themselves in high regard and aspire to be seen as fine and unselfish is essential. People generally want to perceive themselves in positive light and uphold their self-image. J.P. Morgan observed that individuals often have two reasons for their action: one that sounds good, appealing to their idealistic nature, and the real one. When seeking to influence others, it's effective to appeal to their deeper, more genuine motives. Principle 11 talks of the importance of dramatizing ideas to make them compelling and attention grabbing. In today's fast-paced and information-saturated world, simply stating the truth may not be enough, especially if you want to capture attention to persuade others. To effectively communicate ideas, they will need to be vivid, interesting, and dramatic in some situations. Drawing inspiration from movies and marketing campaigns and employing showmanship can enhance the impact of your message, just as a romantic gesture adds depth and emotion to a proposal. Dramatizing ideas can evoke strong reactions and engagement from your audience. So the next time you want your audience to be persuaded more, just try to dramatize your actions and persuade them better. It works wonders in some situations. However, there's limitations to that because not everyone loves a dramatic scene. Principle 12 highlights the power of throwing down a challenge to stimulate motivation and drive excellence. Charles Schwab emphasizes that stimulating competition is key to achieving success. However, the motivation should not stem from selfish desires or from monetary gain, but rather a desire to excel and improve. The king's guard in ancient Greece had a motto that said, "All men have fears, but the brave put down their fears and go forward, sometimes to death, but always to victory." It reflects the courage to move forward even in the face of challenges and potential risks. This attitude is essential for achieving victory and success. Frederick Hertzberg's research on work attitudes reveals that the most motivating factor for professionals is not external rewards like money or working conditions, but the work itself. Exciting and interesting work provides individuals with opportunities for self-expression, proving their worth, excelling, and winning, elements that successful people usually thrive on. While Dale Carnegie's principles offer valuable insights into effective communication and relationship building, there are some potential criticisms to consider. Number one, Carnegie's principles may oversimplify complex interpersonal dynamics and fail to account for individual differences in personality, culture, and context. Number two, the principles often provide general guidelines without considering the nuances of specific situations, which may lead to potential misapplications or misunderstandings. Number three, certain principles such as appealing to nobler motives or dramatizing ideas may border on manipulation or lack authenticity in genuine interactions. Because, for example, in our day-to-day lives, it's very hard to find someone dramatizing an idea. It doesn't come naturally. Thus, it may not look original. Number four, Carnegie's principles primarily focus on influencing others and winning friends, potentially overlooking the importance of mutual respect, empathy, and authenticity in fostering genuine connections. Number five, the principles may not fully resonate or apply to diverse cultural contexts, where communication styles, social norms, and values vary significantly. Overall, while Carnegie's principles offer valuable insights, it's essential to approach them with a critical eye and consider their limitations in various contexts. Balancing these principles with other perspectives and ethical considerations can help ensure more authentic and meaningful interactions. We've explored a wealth of wisdom and practical strategies for cultivating meaningful connections, resolving conflicts, and inspiring positive change in our interactions. Whether it's avoiding arguments, empathizing with others' perspectives, or throwing down a challenge, Carnegie's principles provide timeless guidance for achieving success in both personal and professional spheres. As we continue to apply these principles in our daily lives, may we strive to embody the spirit of empathy, understanding, and genuine connection. Stay tuned for more insights and inspiration on our journey to mastery. Bye. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe and like the video.